you're a remodeling company, you've probably spent tons of money on Facebook and Google in the past, and you've probably got a lot of really bad leads or just no ROI. I see that all the time. We work with 36 residential construction companies. We help them scale from $1 to $2 million to $10 million a year. I have nothing to sell you guys, and I just want to show you how we create a campaign to get really high quality leads on a small budget. And I want to walk you through the whole process here. So of course on this, we have the Google Ads account, which I have here. Just to show you that this is a fresh Google Ads account. There are no campaigns running currently. So this is going to be the account that we set it up for. The second thing is I'm going to show you how to do keyword research. So we obviously want to know what keywords we should be ranking for. And so the easiest way to basically do that is come to Tools, Planning, and then you're going to go to Keyword Planner. Then what I would do is I would go to ChatGPT, and I have this prompt, but it's basically generate a list of long tail search terms, and I'll paste it, but it's basically a prompt asking for the keywords that would be relevant. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to take the website that we built for this company, and I'm going to paste it in ChatGPT as well, just so that it can hyper personalize its recommendations. Here is their website. I'm going to paste that. So now I'm going to get this clean list that I can basically take, and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to come back to this keyword planner, and I'm going to get search volume, and I'm going to paste all of these here. You can paste those keywords. Again, you can put the area here. And if I look, these are the 10 that I'm going to obviously be trying to rank for, because you can see there's not that much search volume. There's low competition for most of these. You can see that, for example, a home addition contractor in Boston, if we wanted to rank for that, you're going to be spending about $16 for a click. So you might need to multiply this by 10 to kind of get a range. Like we're spending $160 per lead if 1 out of 10 people that click on this actually fill out the form and become a lead. So that's kind of how you can project out what this is going to cost based on the competition, because some keywords are obviously going to be very competitive. We are now going to actually set up the campaigns. So what I'm going to do is come to campaigns, I'll click campaigns, and then I'll click new campaign. So this is where we have a bunch of different options, but in this case, we're going to go leads, and we're going to go search. There's a bunch of other options, but again, in this case, we want website visits. We're going to be using a landing page, which is this one right here. And this is basically the landing page that we'll be sending the people to. It's very simple. The only action that they can take is, again, by completing this form. And just to show you what happens, there's this form. Then they go to an appointment scheduling page where they can basically schedule their appointment. And then there is a thank you page, which has a video explaining kind of like the next steps and how we increase the amount of people who show up to their appointment. So that's kind of the process. So we're going to send people to basically this URL. And a lot of people will use their website, but unless your website is built with this in mind, then it's probably not what you should use. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that there, click continue. And now it's going to ask us to choose. So in this case, we're going to click form submissions from your website. There could be multiple options here. You could do phone calls, but in this case, typically for a remodeling company, the best way to do it is to use phone calls and form submits. So we're going to use a form submit. And then we're going to set this up manually. And we're going to title this campaign. And you want to name this so that it's very easy for you to understand what this is. So we know it's a lead. This campaign is responsible for getting leads from search, and this is for Alston, but this could be the offer you're running. It could be the location you're running it in. It could be a lot of things, just so that when you're looking at the reporting, it's really easy to see. Go ahead, leave that checked and click continue. Just clicks. You could do conversions if you have a lot of conversions, but in this case, we're going to do clicks. Set a maximum cost per click. Again, we don't necessarily know, so we don't want to bid anything too early, but if you know your numbers, you can place what you're comfortable spending. However, if you have a bigger budget, you can use those things. And then for the location options, we want to make sure we click presence only if you're a local service. A lot of companies will run this, but if somebody is interested in your area or they looked it up, you'll still show up rather than people who actually just live there. And so you want to make sure that that's important. And so in this case, we're going to type Boston. We're going to click include. And obviously English, that's the language. You could select a bunch of these kinds. So I'm going to just click a few of these. Home and garden, home improvement, real estate, And then I'm just going to click leave observation because we don't have a lot of data yet. All day. You could change your ad schedule to only show up during business hours. However, in our case, it doesn't really matter. But if you're doing call ads and you have a team that can answer the phone during business hours, it makes sense to do that. So we're going to click skip on this, which I didn't see it first, but it's hiding behind there. And then this is where we can actually paste the keywords that we want. So again, I'm going to come to this Google Doc. So this is the ad group 1. So now we need to add the headlines, the descriptions, and the site links and the callouts. So I'm going to pause this. So you can see I added a bunch of descriptions, I added a bunch of headlines, I added the URL. So you can see it's starting to come together pretty nicely. You can see different ways that this will look when people are looking us up. Obviously, we need to update a bunch of this stuff, but that is the idea. We're going to click next, and then this is where we get to decide our budget. So in this case, we have a $60 budget per day. And so it's telling us that it's going to range these. Again, we need to run the ads and see. So we're going to click next. Then it should let us review the ad. Then all we got to do is click bids, publish campaign. Your ads will go live after being reviewed. Awesome. Now this is where we need to actually track the conversions, right? So that was part of our Google Doc here. You can see we did our keyword research, we have our landing page, and now we need a way to track everything. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do that. So in our case, we're going to basically paste this head tracking code here, and we're going to click save. And basically this is just allowing Google to have a way to understand what's happening when people land on this page. So now if I come back here and I click test installation, so there we go. Your Google tag was correctly detected on your website. Awesome. And so now we need to add a code to actually measure each of the conversions. So if we think about it, we're going to be using the page load. And so when a page loads, that's how we're going to trigger that, hey, like we got a customer or a lead. So in this case, in this 3-step funnel, if somebody lands on this offers page and then they come to this appointment page because after they complete the form, it redirects them, then we know that we had a conversion. And so the conversion actually happens when this page loads. Okay, so that's very key to understand because we have the first page, which again, just to show it to you, is a simple landing page. It has a form. That is the only thing you can click to actually, that's the only button on the page. If you click these other buttons, right, see if my project is a fit, it just takes you to the form, right? So then the second page, once they complete the form, they get taken to our appointment page. And this appointment page is nice because again, we added some customization. So it'll say thank you and it'll add their name. And then this is where they can schedule the appointment here. So from this page, we added the tracking code here. And now what we can do is we can click continue to your account, set up your Google tag later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click edit. And on this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some code that Google provided to us. And basically we're going to mark this as an event, and it's going to be a conversion event. This will allow us again to actually track the Google conversion. So the way that I'm going to test it is I'm going to click troubleshoot, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the URL, and then I'm going to paste it in here, click connect. It's going to open the tag assistant. And from here, we want to trigger this, right? So in order for this to work, we need to fill this out. So I'm going to put test 361944331 test number. I'm going to enter this 100, 200, 200,000, 20,000 ASAP. Click next. I'm going to type in my address as Boston. And I'm just going to put in random information. Yes, please. Tomorrow. So this is the way that they click the form. And then when they click submit, it then takes them, like I said, to this page. And the submit lead form conversion action is sending data. So what I can do is I can click X, I can click continue, and now you can see that this submit lead form was submitted, the page view, and then the user provided data, and then it was a submitted lead form, right? So we click finish, and then you can see this conversion action is being sent to Google Ads, which is great. And I'm going to go ahead and close Tag Assistant. If we go to campaigns, you can see obviously that they are still under review. This usually takes a day or so. And then we can start going into other stuff. But in the beginning, this is kind of what we need to do to set this up. So one thing that's super important to note is when we click on admin in the settings, we see this negative keywords, and these are words that we want to exclude. So we do not want to show up for when people are searching for these. And so I'm going to go ahead and paste these. And so you can see I just pasted a lot. A lot of it has to do with if somebody is looking for a job or if they're DIY, they're probably not looking for the most expensive remodeler. And so it doesn't make sense for us to show up there. So that's why we just want to remove those. That way we're not wasting any dollars on basically people who wouldn't be a customer. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. The last thing, and it's a little bit outside the scope of this video, again, we have the Google Ads account. We did some keyword research and we figured out how we could use the keyword planner and ChatGPT to kind of help us with that. We created a landing page. And again, this is basically the way that this is structured is you have the offer page, which then goes to a scheduling page, which then goes to a thank you page. Now, this is, again, we're trying to get really high quality leads here. So we're trying to apply friction, but if you want, you could just have the offer page and you could take out the scheduling page. And this would be a simpler funnel. It would get more leads, but it would probably be lower quality. But again, that you would just put the tracking code on this thank you page because they have to complete this offer page to even get to this thank you page. So that's how you would set that up. And then obviously after that, we had the ways to track everything, and we set that up again using the tracking pixel and the conversion event in the Google Ads Manager. And the last thing is the sales process to close the leads effectively. And again, this is outside the scope, and I will make it in a separate video. But ultimately, what we need is lead notification messages, right? So we need to know lead info, and this needs to go to the salespeople in real time so that they can see it. Then we need to acknowledge the lead, their inquiry. Now this is where it gets a little bit advanced, but if they fill out the form and don't fill out the calendar, no appointments, obviously you're going to send them a text, an automated text with the link to schedule directly. And then also you're going to call these leads within 5 minutes and qualify them and schedule them. And then you're going to reach out to every lead 5 times within the first week, and then put them in a long-term nurture, which is basically, like 1 email / SMS per month. And this is not selling them anything. This is just showcasing work, testimonials, etc. You're just trying to start a conversation. You're not trying to sell them, because if you try and sell them, they will basically remove themselves from your list. So don't do that. And basically that's how you set up the Google ads from start to finish. And these ads will be reviewed by Google. They'll be published, and then we can start tracking how many clicks we got, our conversion rate, and how many conversions we had. Again, that is ultimately what we were trying to set up, and now it's done. If you need help getting better quality customers, reach out to us at readymedia.solutions. We'd be happy to book a strategy call with you and learn more about your business. Until next time, drop questions in the comments, and I will see you later.